So there was a smaller story that had come out over the week, and I think that a lot of you guys might have missed it. And I, for one, am not willing to leave well enough alone. It's Nik Lentz versus BJ Penn. Now, the only reason that I find this interesting is I just happen to follow that story. Okay, let's back up, guys. Here, let's not. Let's start on third base. Here's what happened over the week. Nik Lentz took some kind of a shot at BJ Penn. BJ Penn responded. I think this whole thing was done through social media. BJ Penn responds and says, "I will see you soon." Nik Lentz says, "Well, I don't know about that. I don't spend a whole lot of time in Hawaii in the back of police cruisers, so there's really no reason that you should be seeing me soon." Okay, not for nothing. That's a really good line, right? I mean, that's a really good line. Now let's back up. Let's go to second base then first. Many years ago, those two had trained together, and BJ brought Nik in, brought him out to Hawaii. Now, BJ has a great reputation for bringing guys in and then treating them really good. BJ will bring guys in. They love the workouts. He makes sure they have a nice place to stay. They got money in their pocket for food. It's always a really great thing, and a lot of guys really wanted to be the training partners of BJ Penn. And I think that's where Nik fell. I think that's the same category Nik was in, but something happened in training, and Nik's eye got split right off the bat, and he had to go home. He couldn't do anything. First, okay, I don't know if that was BJ that threw a punch, and maybe Nik thought he hit him too hard. Maybe BJ wasn't even there, and this was a training part. All I know is Nik was out there to train with BJ. Nik got his eye split early on and had to leave. I think as far as BJ was concerned, it was all cool in the gang, and I'll catch you on the next one. Nik ended up saying, you know what, I have a better idea. Instead of me coming out there and training with you, let's just fight. Now, I was into that story, but at that time, BJ was in a place where I was like, come on, man. Are you serious? That's never going to happen. In addition, you were my training partner. Come on, what are you doing? And even I, as a fan, even kind of felt that same way. There's really nothing to see here. But over the years, right, BJ's not in the same spot he was in. Lentz doing just fine. I mean, right? You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden, it starts to make a little bit more sense. And now they have this heat back and forth. Now, all of a sudden, BJ Penn is saying, see you soon. Now, generally, you're going to take Nik Lentz, who the company is not in a big hurry to put some promotional push behind, against BJ Penn, who the company is clearly not in any interest promoting right now. Evident of the fact they've both been on the undercards lately. You think you marry two undercard fighters together, you're going to have an undercard fight. And maybe you would. But I don't know. There is something to be said for a grudge match. There is a story here. If people catch on to it, it's captivated me. I'm interested in it. And I think you also have something with this is going to be BJ's last fight. And that has been dangled out there many times. And I think if he is given another fight, if he has one more fight, the only way that he is going to talk Dana into that is to level with him and go, look, last one, and this time I mean it. I really am out of here, but let me do a send-off. Let me just tell people this will be my last one. Lentz is a suitable opponent. Everybody might agree and sign off. I would like to see that fight. And Lentz has even been on this show. He's been on he came on and dropped some poems. I had him on. He was going to be a guest. I was go back and forth with him. I remember saying, hey, Nik, what's going on? And he just started it on some poem and dropped the mic and hung up on me. But it was a solid poem. It provided for some solid entertainment for the 2 minutes that it lasted. So he gets a hold of me and says, hey, I was doing a little theater there and it worked pretty good, but let me come back on and we'll do the actual spot. Okay, great. You got it, Nik. So he comes back. Hey, Nik, how's it going? And he drops another poem. He double crosses me, drops the mic, and hangs up again. But it was good, solid theater. So that's a little bit of my history. Maybe I'm tied to it a little bit more. And so I knew the backstory there. But it looks like, look, if BJ's willing to, can I say take the bait? I think that's fair. Is it take the bait? I mean, this is what Lentz wanted for about 6 or 7 years. If Lentz is finally going to get it, I think that's a fair term to say BJ's taking the bait, but I think that that's a match that I would like to see, and I think that we would need the added storyline that it is BJ's farewell. I don't want to tell a guy when to get out of the sport, but it does appear that he's going to be leaving the sport, and a little bit reluctantly, and doesn't want to, and I think that it would help him, and even incentivize him, motivate, to come out, say it ahead of time, make that walk and go have a fight, particularly one that he thinks he can win. Let's see. Maybe we're going to have BJ Penn and Nik Lentz. Maybe I'll get those guys on the show. They can tell their side of the story. But until we have them, that's a little nugget that I think went under the radar and perhaps shouldn't. I think that there could be a little bit of a spark there that's going to turn into a flame.